And now, welcome back. Picking up right where we left off. We are heading into Season 2, and one of the first things you're going to notice as we prepare the upcoming season is that now have access to a lot more races than we used to. Another thing we have more access to is funding from our sponsor. We can go up to 2 levels because I exceeded the sponsor target by so much, but I am going to house rule it so that I can only go up by 1 funding level per season, as I think that'll create a more gradual and natural progression through the ranks. That still gives us enough money to sign that crack sprinter we were looking at that has all the tools necessary to be useful right away and continue being useful. David Perry's retiring at the end of this season. One more thing of note, when you're firing and or replacing riders, can't actually drop the player rider unless they retire, but that's maybe 10 seasons away. Anyway, let's get down to business schedule-wise. Now, last season we didn't actually get to race in Gazmere at all, so this season the sponsor has requested that we do a homecoming tour of sorts, and that's why I have as many Gazmean races as possible on this provisional calendar, especially the Great Lakes Tour. This is one that we want to win more than anything else on the amateur circuit because it is the team and Herman Watson's home race. And if Watson's going to target that race, I think Pavlov might as well target the Arcana race this season, because it's a good profile for him right now. And that is that. We are probably going to get trounced at the Monte Perona. I think I will. There's 5 pro teams and all the amateur teams are high level too, and I won't have a major peak, so that takes care of that. We are the defending champions for the Hills and Valley Tour, but this time we'll be riding for Pavlov since I'm going to be saving Watson's peak for later races. But before that, of course, we've got the Desert Sprint again, and Hassan Sadar, the epic sprinter, takes that one. Mind you, this is still going to be pretty difficult for us to defend our title, although Billy King is a -1 in mountain, so I don't think he's going to be a general classification threat, even if the game thinks he's a 3-star favourite. And this stage is being ridden at a blistering pace right now. It's going to be difficult to move up, especially if the peloton wants to go even harder. But we're going to have to move up at some points, whether in one way or the other. We're running a little bit low on attack points with Watson in particular, but I think everyone should make it. In any case, he's not our #1 priority this time. Yep, it's going to come down to the mountain sprint. No way anyone's getting far enough up the mountain for this to make sense to attack. Well, we've made it to the foot of the final climb, the biggest escape group you'll see anywhere. Okay, Campbell can't follow that, but our other riders definitely will. Campbell just goes here. Perry is a-okay to continue. Well, obviously this lead-out move's not going to work, but I don't think this is either. I think we're about to lose Perry. Yeah, someone does in fact attack. There is no slipstream to be had on these mountains, and this is why I had Pavlov as our leader, because he has been able to follow the big move. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to follow the second move. He is out of energy. We just got bopped. And yep, there's confirmation. We only have 4 energy points and 5 attack left. We have to use them all, but it's only a 3rd place, and Watson's only got 2 attack points left himself, so he is also going to lose some time. Perry may yet be the GC guy because he's the only guy we have that still has energy. It should be acknowledged that it was somewhat of a fluke that we won the Hills and Valley with Watson last season, and this is probably more in line with how we should actually be doing at this tour. Because yeah, I genuinely think it's going to come down to David Perry on stage 3. Pavlov's not going to have the energy, Watson's probably not going to have the attack. That's an inviting opportunity for Lefleur to go long range, but He's 7 turns down. I don't have to worry about him if he does decide to go, and he doesn't. It's possible that this... I was going to say that it's possible this just gets settled in a sprint in Peloton 0, but I wanted to hang back for an extra turn. It was a bit of a risk, but it does mean that we are able to easily follow any big move that comes from some of the pure climbers. And yeah, it's going to be Watson who gives himself up for Pavlov and Perry's sake, because Pavlov's got the speed potentially and Perry's got the energy. Not that there was any slipstream to be had from this move anyway, so it doesn't actually matter that... Oh. Damn it. A couple of guys got ahead of us. Alright, Perry goes to the front. Fastest move possible from here. Can Lefleur? Nah, he can't out-sprint us. Pavlov is fine there. We barely lose anything, actually. I'm not going to sprint with Pavlov. I want to have saved his attack points for the last stage. And that was actually a good decision from me, because we are defending the yellow jersey with Pavlov, because the two guys that gained time on us today, they were not in the front group on stage 1. Well, the goal today isn't too complicated. Just ride for as long as we can with all of our riders and see where that puts us in the overall. It wasn't... do I want to go with that? You know what? I don't actually want to go with that. I know it's a risk, but we've got to take a bit of a risk to save more energy if we want to get to the end of this stage. And that was the right decision for us to make, because the Peloton don't have any good moves beyond this tile, so Campbell's going to be able to reconnect with the group very easily. Well, anyway, group of key riders is off the front now. This last climb popped the Peloton, and now there's not going to be an attack yet, surely. If there is, we can follow it, but yeah, too much momentum blocking on that. Oh, there's the big move. And we have to go with that because it's 3 less nodes of 3 movement, but it's also a lot closer to the finish line, with the finish line very close now. Oh, jeez, that's another 0 slipstream move that's going to obliterate everyone. Does Pavlov... Yeah, he can actually mark Korolev, and he needs to for the sake of the stage. And he doesn't actually have any attack points left, so why don't I just go max move with Pavlov, because the burden of staying ahead of Fischer is on me, right? Because if we lose the stage win, so be it. We can't get attacked over here. We can get sprinted over, but I don't care. Actually, we can still do a max move with Perry, because that way he can protect his position in the general classification. And Watson can actually sprint over everyone and take 3rd place on the stage. It's the last stage, so we don't have to conserve any of our attack points, or energy points for that matter. And missing out on the stage win aside, that maximizes how many points we were able to get overall for the tour, because we have 1st, 4th and 5th in the overall. We win back-to-back Hills and Valley tours. Pavlov's definitely going to level up. 3rd in the green jersey. Don't mention the red jersey. We weren't going after it. Well, I've got a good idea of what to do with Pavlov, because we repeatedly came close to running out of energy with him, and that would have lost us the tour if he had. So let's take more energy on this turn, because we could go recovery instead, but I think for him being more of a classics rider, he doesn't need the extra points in recovery until later. By the way, when it comes to scouting, now that we've got 1 season in, we get not just the riders we scout ourselves, but also all of the riders that other teams fired to potentially shortlist. Which, given the lackluster scouting this month, I think we will pick someone from here. There is a catch. it's first come, first serve. If you don't shortlist someone you like, another team might beat you to the punch before the next month tick. Not so sure who to take actually, but I think I'll go with Dylan White. There might be situations where having a downhill specialist actually helps us. Wouldn't have expected a pure ruler to win the Steinveg Classic. They don't have the cobble stat necessary to hang, but I suppose that was a relatively gentle Steinveg for cobbles. Our race, on the other hand, anything but gentle. We've got this could be a Hegenberg round, but instead we're doing it in the Hammersback. Nice and easy prologue. If you can get to this downhill node, you're sitting pretty. If not, you're kind of messed up for GC. Thankfully, Perry can make it. He is our main hopeful for this event. But that's the stage done already, and we just got crushed. Perry is, well, what's more important is this stage. See, let me try to explain what's going on as best I can with these cobble sectors. You see that this is a -7 trait for the terrain, so whatever movement rating we have is getting subtracted by 7 through this sector. And also, these cobble sectors work just like technical in that they take away slipstream, and if you're in P2 or P3, you get penalised an additional point for being in a crowded part of the field, which makes it more difficult to ride. Oh, and that was a hard move up this climb that's dropped a lot of riders with a real opportunity to put the sword to the field now. I get the feeling this is going to be a reverse Norbad, because even though we've had to make a lot of awkward moves, this group that in theory has a lot of the favourites is not going to catch us. That doesn't mean we're necessarily going to win, because there's also a lot of favourites in the peloton that are playing it smart. Although, how smart can they really be? They are riding these cobble sectors in P2. I think this is going to have to be a 3-turn move up this next climb, because I don't want to let go of the peloton yet. There is still 200 nodes of flat riding after this, and I want to get the most out of that. And that's another group that has dropped short. What is with the logic of the AI today? But yeah, everyone's finally back together. Well, aside from a few riders that are going to get eliminated by the time limits. Next turn, we are moving up to P1 with Perry and Ward. Ward is going to be more of a helper at this point. Only rider here that can still spoil us is Samuel Alexander. I think the rest Perry can potentially beat. Wouldn't mind finishing second or third at a mixed level event. That's worth a lot of points. I doubt there's going to be slipstream on the next 2 moves anyway, so being in bad position like this doesn't actually matter. Because you see the slipstream modifier is a -8. Go. And that actually was the KOM for Perry, and only 2 riders were able to follow. One of them was Samuel Alexander. Now, it's a good thing that we're able to get to the top with 1 short of our max move, because it actually means we can reposition, and since I made that last move, I am going to reposition. And they've just gifted me the stage win, because they went way short. And the finish line is right there, so if I go maximum, yeah, they didn't bother reordering like I did, and they went way short, meaning this attack was 3. I don't know if I actually get the yellow jersey for that. I think I might. Wait, what is the overall? 0.19, so yeah, we would get the yellow jersey for that. Further back, I mentioned the time limit earlier, but that didn't come into play here. All of the stragglers just ended up back in the peloton, and the time limit can never overtake the peloton. The one rider who never made it back was still close enough to get over the finish line before the time limit could. But we have the stage and the jersey for David Perry. Can we hold on to that? Find out next time.